When it was good, it was really good, and when it was bad, it was woo! Ladies and gentlemen, this is Dropkicks and Attractions. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome aboard to Dropkicks and Attractions, your favorite bi-weekly wrestling podcast about old school wrestling. As always, I am your favorite podcaster, Xander Invictus. The last podcast before my birthday, and I am joined by my co-host, your favorite podcaster's second favorite podcaster, Big Bach. How are you, sir?
Doing good tonight, Xander. How about yourself?
Not too bad. Cracked open a beer right before we started recording. Thank you, Coors Light.
I've just got water right now.
Yeah, you're not a drinker anyway, so...
I can't stand the taste of the alcohol itself, and I've told you that many times.
Oh, I know. That's why you're always, whenever we go out drinking, you're our DD, so we can drink as much as we want.
Doesn't bother me a bit.
Nope. As always, ladies and gentlemen, we are a member of the Main Event Wrestling Network. Once again, go watch them, go read them. They're fantastic groups of people, and you and I and a friend of ours are planning a trip in August. There may be some sort of meetup with some of the guys. I'll talk to you about it after the recording.
Yeah, as we record this on June 9th, they've just finished up a main event mixer on their main channel talking about the upcoming NXT Battleground. Check that out.
Yeah, because that's tonight. As of the recording, we're recording this on Sunday. This will be up on Monday. But yeah, you, I, and a friend of ours are guys trip, no wives, no girlfriends, no chaperones, down to Southern Ohio in August. There may be a meetup with some of the guys from the network.
That would be awesome.
So, we are doing a pay-per-view. I have heard and read, this is the first time I've watched this pay-per-view itself.
Mm-hmm.
It is Fall Brawl 1993, September 19th, 1993 in Houston. Now, I have heard and read that this is considered a horrendous pay-per-view. It was actually considered one of the worst of the year, if not the worst of the year.
I wouldn't go that far, not even close.
No, that's exactly what I was going to say. I was like, no, when there was bad stuff on here. But like I said in the intro, when it was good, it was fucking great.
Yeah, high peaks and low lows.
Yeah, very. It was either really good or really bad.
Mm-hmm. Agreed.
Yeah, I wouldn't say this is the worst. I honestly don't know if this is going to be the worst pay-per-view, but it's my least favorite, if that makes sense. It's not a bad one, but it's my least favorite one.
You got the least out of it compared to others.
Yeah, because I mean, like, you know, what was that? Oh, first WCW one we did. Super Brawl. You had the White Castle Affair strap match, which is still one of my favorite WCW matches from 93. Slamboree was fantastic. Beach Brawl, or Beach Blast is a blast. Beach Brawl is UWF, that's a different thing. Beach Blast was fantastic. It just accentuated the negatives because of the other pay-per-views. I just thought all were very solid.
Yeah, on the WWF side, obviously WrestleMania 9 was a stinker, but on the whole, they've been pretty good too.
I think overall WCW, up until this point, we're talking late summer, early fall, WCW's have been more consistent because I honestly think there was one... Okay, Royal Rumble pay-per-view was decent. SummerSlam was pretty good. WrestleMania sucked.
Yeah.
And King of the Ring was alright.
I'll agree with all of that.
Honestly, because if you take all the Bret Hart matches out of the equation, there was really nothing there for King of the Ring 93.
Yeah, it was carried by the Bret story.
Easy. Because he literally, if you put all the matches together, he wrestled about a good hour of that pay-per-view.
Yeah, that's a lot.
Yeah. But anyways, going back to this, we are, like I said, this is September 19th, 93. This is actually 5 days after my mom's birthday.
Mm-hmm.
In Houston, Texas, which we'll talk about why that is. We'll talk about Houston and different things in Texas here in the first match.
Mm-hmm.
Jesse and Tony are obviously doing the commentary, and we're going to see Eric Bischoff he's only on, I think, like twice.
Yeah, I've become a big fan of Tony and Jesse. They've got great chemistry.
Oh, yeah, they're fantastic. Like, overall, week to week, I would put them over, Vince, Bobby, and Randy.
Honestly, I think I agree.
And we're actually starting right off, we got a cool video package, kind of like, oh, we're going back to school. Everybody's going back to school. And now there's danger. It was a very 90-ish promo package to open the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
So we're going to go ahead and hop into the first match. And I'm excited because this was one of the 2 matches I was looking forward to. And honestly, out of all the really good matches, I'm going to say this now, this was a really good match. This was my least favorite good match, which tells you how good the good matches were.
Really?
Yes. And I'm not saying this was not a bad match. It was great. But out of the 3 matches I consider the top 3 matches, this is number 3.
Wow.
And this is actually half my Mount Rushmore, including my all-time favorite. We have Lord Steven Regal going up against my all-time favorite. We've established this. Ricky the Dragon Steamboat for the TV title. And you figure, and Jesse talks about this during the match, you figure this is going to be the nice technical scientific match we were going to expect this to be. Nope, no, we start throwing hams and slams right away. This is very brawly.
And yeah, Jesse points that out on the commentary.
Yeah. By the way, early on, we get our first over the top with no disqualification, so we get the...
Tony kind of thinks it doesn't count because Regal landed on the entryway and not the floor. Nonsense. Even Jesse says it's nonsense.
And this is where we're going to go in this because I caught exactly how Jesse explained it, and we're going to show you exactly what he said right here.
Yeah, that's a technicality. How is it he can go out and land on the runway over the top rope?
But no, this was a hot start. Like, if we're getting if we're starting hot, honestly, I think this was, out of all the other matches, because we do get one unannounced match, but I think this is honestly, I think this was the best match to start the pay-per-view with.
Yeah, this was a great opener.
Yeah, and I was honestly surprised. There was a smattering of a good portion of the match. We heard Steamboat sucks chants, which surprised me.
That caught me off guard too.
Because Steamboat's always been the good guy. He's always been popular. He's always been a top face wherever he goes. So I was surprised when we got the Steamboat sucks chants. And I do like Bach, sure.
Yes.
What city? We're in Texas, yes.
Right.
What city are we in?
I believe it was Houston.
We are in Houston. So, Jesse kept talking about the Alamo.
Right.
How, we're going to have this big, it's like the Battle at the Alamo here in Houston. Have you ever seen Pee-wee's Big Adventure?
I have not.
Okay. One, it's a fucking funny movie.
Mm-hmm.
Pee-wee gets his bike stolen. They find it in the basement of the Alamo, which, by the way, that's false. Alamo does not have a basement.
Ah.
The Alamo, famous battle between, the Americans and the Mexicans. It's a famous battle in American history.
Mm-hmm.
Remember the Alamo, all that stuff. So, when I was in the Army, I trained to be a medic. We've established this. And I have seen the Alamo. I haven't visited it as like the museum, but I have walked past it.
Right.
So I know, okay. We're in Houston. Buck, where's the Alamo?
It's in Houston, right?
It is in San Antonio.
Oh.
Which is not even close to Houston. Houston, you're talking coastal, like Gulf Coast. San Antonio is a couple hours. Well, I think it's just Texas, Alamo, all this. I'm not saying it was a blub, but I was just like, why are we talking about the Alamo when we're in Houston?
Right.
Because I have been walked in front of it. It's in as a matter of fact, downtown by the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, just to, me, I'm a history guy. I picked that shit up. Anyways, this is what impressed me is, at one point, Ricky Steamboat locks in a short arm scissors. Regal's on the ground. Regal, just a crazy show of strength, able to get up, stand up, basically keep Ricky on his shoulder and just stand up and just hold him up there like that.
That was a great spot.
I was like, because Regal was never known as a power guy.
He is built though.
Yeah, but I mean, you're talking like Vader could do shit like that. Sid could do stuff like Sting, Rude. Those guys, I could honestly, would not surprise me if they've done stuff like that.
Okay, gotcha.
This era of Sting was known as a strong, because once again, he was a power lifter before he was a wrestler.
Mm-hmm.
Regal never was. So, when you talk about leverage and all this kind of stuff. But the story of this match is we talked about this. They keep saying yesterday, but it was our last show because WCW Saturday Night was the night before Fall Brawl.
Right.
And
War Games.
You're going to hear that a bunch of times today, folks, because this is the pay-per-view for that. And I promise we won't do it until next year after tonight.
Okay.
But you know me, I love my good clips. Anyways, Steamboat jumped Paul Orndorff, and him and Regal beat Steamboat in the ribs. So this whole thing you just saw, when Regal did get control, it was all on the ribs.
Yeah, the storytelling with the ribs was really good in this match.
Yeah, for the good last third of the match, it was all Regal, all on the ribs. Once again, Regal's a scientific fucking Gandalf. He's a fucking wizard. And you just got to see this. And it was just great.
Yeah, it was awesome.
Steamboat does hit the crossbody. He does hit his finisher. He couldn't capitalize because obviously you just crossbodied somebody off the top. You're, using your ribs. You land on your ribs.
Yep.
And here's the thing. Here's another thing that you may not realize. If I take away your ribs and I'm beating you in your torso and your core area, what can't you do?
Right, you can't pick people up. You can't breathe.
Right there. Point right there. You can't breathe. You're just... Because if you have that damage, you're not going to be able to get those full breaths that you need to go at a high pace that, we've seen you've seen plenty of Steamboat in 93 here. He could go fast.
Yes.
And he could go even faster, like if you're talking like mid 80s, like when it was like Mid-Atlantic Jim Crockett Promotions, even his first WWF run, where WrestleMania 3 is considered, his match with Savage is considered one of the best matches ever.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, fucking fantastic match. It's on Peacock, of course it is, but it's his match with Savage at WrestleMania 3 is amazing. I think they said there was 19 2 counts between the two guys.
Holy crap.
Yeah. It's a fucking amazing match. Because once again, you got to think about it. It's Steamboat in 87, and then 87 Savage.
Would that be prime time for both of them, you think?
You're talking peak, you're talking pretty peak Steamboat, pretty peak Savage.
Gotcha.
This is pre-Savage teaming up with Hulk Hogan.
Really?
This is 87.
Gotcha.
So you're talking 6 years prior to this. So honestly, not too awful far away from this.
Okay.
But anyways, and then one of the things, and this comes up to the finish here, we're getting to the finish. Mm-hmm. Steamboat was known for that skin in the cat. You've seen Shawn Michaels do it, and a lot of other guys do it, where they grab the rope. They get thrown over the top, but they grab the rope, and they kind of just backflip their way in.
Yeah.
Skinning the cat. It's called skinning the cat.
Mm-hmm.
And that was one of the things Steamboat was known for. He was kind of like the first guy to really do that, to where it's like, oh, this is a Steamboat thing. So he does this, and while he goes to flip himself back in, Regal has the ref distracted. Sir William comes in and just cracks him right over the head with the umbrella, knocks him for a loop, and Regal hits a German suplex for the win. And we have our first title change of the night. First title match, first title change.
17 minutes, 6 seconds. Great stuff.
Fucking great match. Like I said, this was the perfect opener.
Absolutely.
I don't think, we looked the rest of the card, I think this was the best match to open with. And it was fucking great. We got Steamboat, we got Regal.
We got all the good stuff.
Yeah, and it was just like, once again, no notes in a good way. But when I say that of my 3 favorite matches, this is number 3. That shows you, in my opinion, how good the other 2 matches I really liked were.
Right. It's not it doesn't say that this match was bad. It's just not as good.
Not even remotely. And I wouldn't even say as good. Like this match, any other time, this match would have been my match of the night.
Right. Gotcha.
But we'll get to the other 2 matches. Ironically, it's the other 2 title matches, actually. The title matches were 3 for 3 for being great matches.
Agreed.
So, speaking of the title matches, Eric interviews the Nasty Boys. They're talking about how, they have their tag title match later on in the night here. Not only do they say they're going to win, they say what move they're going to win with.
Call them their shot.
Yeah, which is impressive. Like, once again, I like the Nasty Boys. We saw them a little bit earlier in the year they were on Raw towards the end of their WWF when they were on Raw. So I think you might have seen them like once or twice.
Yeah, I remember seeing them at least once.
Yeah, I do. I love me some Nasty Boys. Like I liked them as a kid, and I kind of appreciate them now because once again we talked about this is going to play into the story later. They're brawlers. You're not going to get your Steamboat Regals with them. You're not going to get Vaders and Sids, the power guy. They're going to punch you in the face and laugh about it. And that's all they were. They were the brawlers. But they did it very well.
If you know what to expect from them, you won't be disappointed.
No. If you want to, like I said, if you go in knowing that if Nasty Boys are going to just brawl, we're good. Now we're going to bring the now we're going to bring the fun down a little bit because we get one of why the fuck did we book this matches? Big Sky and Charlie Norris.
I literally put in my notes, who was asking for this?
Yeah, because one, we haven't seen Big Sky, I think, on TV since June? At least on WCW Saturday Night, because once again, we don't have access to a consistent amount of worldwides, pros, all this stuff. We don't have at least the consistent amount we weren't able to get it until well after we had already started.
Right.
So we kind of focus on basically the A shows of whatever era. So we're going to do Saturday night's going to be the A show.
Right.
And then you also got to consider, oh crap, do we watch Pro before we watch? And it's a whole, that's why we're not watching ECW right now.
Mm-hmm.
Because we don't have access to ECW. Even when they were Eastern Championship Wrestling, before this was pre-Extreme Championship Wrestling. A lot of these, like the syndicated shows, you didn't know, a lot of times you didn't know what networks they were on, what time they were on, who recorded them, if they did.
Right.
So I would like to talk about ECW mainly like the 99 or so when they hit TNN, because that's when I really got into ECW.
Right, because TNN's a national network.
Yeah, I can consistently watch ECW weekly. Also, they also had Roller Jam, which was like roller derby, but they were all on rollerblades.
Oh, cool.
And they kind of had storylines, so it was kind of like roller derby with pro wrestling storylines.
That doesn't sound bad.
It actually was really cool because they had, everybody had different teams. Like, it wasn't full on like a Lucha Underground thing.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember one time it's like, oh my god, Joey got jumped, and there's some dude laid out in the backstage like he got jumped and shit. I'm like, but it's just roller derby, which is...
I gotcha.
I grew up watching roller derby as a kid. You find it like on public access or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But there was a block, short tangent, I know we're talking about syndications and stuff. Friday night on TNN, it was Monster Jam, ECW, and I think they called it Roller Jam. But it was roller derby, but like I said, it was all rollerblades.
Right.
But it was kind of cool. By the way, the one season I remember watching fully, my team won the championship. So once again, with all the storylines they added to it, I don't know exactly how pre-planned it was.
I gotcha.
But yeah, I'll find a clip and I'll send you some clips, see what you think about it. But I used to watch it. That was ECW and Roller Jam or Roller Blast or whatever the fuck it was.
Gotcha.
Anyways. Yeah, that was more exciting than this match because, honestly, I put in my notes. I have 3 things written for this. Well, it was a match. Stuff happened.
Charlie wins with a big boot. That's it.
Yeah, stuff happened. Like, this was basic, but not in a good way.
This was boring basic.
Yeah, this was just like, oh, okay. I'm looking at my phone. I'm playing a game on my phone. I'm like, okay, yeah, mm-hmm. Like, if I want to watch something exciting with Big Sky, I'll watch fucking X-Men.
Gotcha.
Because we've established that Big Sky is the one that ended up becoming Sabretooth in the first 3 X-Men movies.
Oh, right. We did talk about that.
Mm-hmm. But no, and it's just like, this is...
Yeah, like I said, Charlie wins with the big boot, 4 minutes, 35 seconds.
Cool, great. I want to go watch Roller Jam now.
Yeah.
So we get an interview. British Bulldog is backstage talking about... Basically, he's having a War Games. He's talking about his opponents in War Games. Basically, what you see is what you get promo. Not a bad promo, but it was not like, hey, I'm talking about the opponents.
Right.
And now we do get our unannounced match for the night. It's a tag match. It is Paul Orndorff and the Equalizer, Bladder Bob. Which, by the way, I think he peed because he didn't do a lot of the whole, I gotta pee stuff.
Oh, yeah, I noticed.
Yeah, versus Too Cold Scorpio, Marcus Alexander Bagwell. One of our favorite tag teams in 93.
Oh, yeah.
And I'm glad to see that, with the divorce of Paul Orndorff and Rick Rude, that Paul was able to get the custody of the Equalizer this week. Because you notice that it's like, oh, Paul's got custody this week. Oh, Rick's got custody this week. I'm glad that they were able to have like a mediator to where they had like an amicable split.
Yeah.
That's what it feels like. Because it's like, he was with Rick, he was with Paul, then he was with Rick a couple weeks, now he's with Paul for a couple weeks. I'm like, do they alternate holidays? Like, what about summer vacation? Like, I want to know the custody situation of the Equalizer between Paul and Rick.
Only you, man.
That's what I got out of this. It's like fucking Kramer versus Kramer. Yeah, only on our show are you going to get a fucking Kramer versus Kramer reference. Wow. Only on our show am I going to... Only me would pull off a fucking Kramer versus Kramer reference.
Oh my gosh. Wow.
It's a great movie, though. It really is a really good movie, but I'm just like, Dustin Hoffman and Meryl Streep in a custody battle. Oh, yeah, that sounds just like Paul Orndorff and fucking Rick Rude.
Oh, gosh.
Once again, you're here for the obscure references and tangents. If not, what the fuck are you doing here?
Yeah.
But you know what, honestly? This was a good match.
Yeah, this match was solid.
And I did notice that when Scorpio and Bagwell got in the ring, they're talking to the camera. They're calling out a title shot. They want a title shot.
Mm-hmm.
I think, honestly, I don't think, at least on Saturday night, I don't think they've lost or been pinned as a tag team, at least on Saturday night. I know they've had one or two pay-per-view matches.
Yeah, I'd have to look at my notes to be sure, but you may be right.
So I'm just like, yeah, they're consistently good. I like them. Like I said, I'm a big Scorpio fan who apparently is still wrestling.
Mm-hmm.
Bagwell's still wrestling. He just wrestled about a week ago. And this was basically just a great back and forth. I mean, there was no story, but it was unannounced, so I'm not really worried too much about story. Yeah, this was a relatively even match. I mean, they focused on Bagwell because obviously, at least in this team, Scorpio's going to get the hot tag because he's going to do all the kicks and spins and flips and stuff to get the crowd hyped up. So
he's going to do the fancy stuff.
Yeah, we know Scorpio's always going to be the hot tag.
Right.
Like if we're talking Rock and Roll Express, which basically perfected the whole face apparel hot tag.
Gotcha.
Bagwell's Ricky Morton and Scorpio's Robert Gibson. Everybody knows the Rock and Roll Express knows exactly what I'm talking about.
Right.
So, and once again, there's not much to say about this match, and that's not a bad thing. It's just, it was a relatively even match. You had power versus speed. Everybody did their roles well.
Yes.
But there's not much to talk about story-wise because there's no story. This was unannounced up until this point.
Yeah, this was just a match for the sake of a match, but it worked.
Yeah, like either something went short or something happened where they had 10 minutes to spend or whatever. But basically everything breaks down and Scorpio's able to land the 450 on the equalizer for the win.
10 minutes, 46 seconds. Solid match.
Yeah, no notes. This is a no notes.
Mm-hmm.
This is the epitome of a no notes.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. And then after the match, both the bad guys take out the good guys, but hopefully we'll see what happens about Bagwell and Scorpio getting a tag title shot.
Mm-hmm. I'll look forward to that.
Yeah. Once again, no notes.
No notes.
So we do get a interview with the new television champion, Steven Regal, who talks about, he's going to fly back to England. The Queen's going to give him, all this stuff because, British.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, so yeah, whenever I think of stoonie British people, I think of that dude.
Mm-hmm.
Like fucking Fire Marshal Bill and shit. But I just, where he's like, I'm British.
Yes.
Which, by the way, Jim Carrey's able to short tangent because Fire Marshal Bill. Because if I don't think about it, I'm just gonna hold it in my head until my head explodes.
Right.
Jim Carrey's able to sneak Fire Marshal Bill into Liar Liar.
What?
Okay, you've at least seen Liar Liar, right?
Yes, I've seen Liar Liar multiple
Fucking
times.
funny the movie's funnier and shit.
Jim Carrey is amazing.
There was 1 year, 94, matter of fact, where I consider that was probably one of the greatest years for an actor, is 94 Jim Carrey. Well, 94 overall had solid fucking movies. But in 1 year, Jim Carrey did Dumb and Dumber, The Mask, and Ace Ventura in 1 year.
I didn't realize Ace Ventura came out in 94. I thought it was earlier than that for some reason.
No, but yeah, he did Ace Ventura, The Mask, and Dumb and Dumber 1 year.
Wow.
If that is not a friggin' the best year by an actor of all time. 3 considered classics. By the way, my favorite out of the 3 is Dumb and Dumber.
Ace Ventura for me.
And I do have, for those that, I always joke around this, we go to a comic convention up in Northwest Ohio every year. I bought myself a Ray Finkel jersey.
I remember that.
It's fucking great. The only Dolphins jersey I'll ever buy, I always said I would buy one Dolphins jersey. It's a Ray Finkel jersey. I bought the Ray Finkel jersey. I actually have, and you've seen me wear it. You were there when I bought it.
Yes, I was.
I have a Ray Finkel jersey. I bought that instead of the Shane Falco jersey from the greatest football movie ever, The Replacements.
I've seen parts of that one, but never the whole thing.
It's my all-time favorite football movie. And by the way, that was Shane Falco's Keanu Reeves character, the quarterback.
That I knew.
Yeah. But that's the next jersey I'm going to get. It's because it's, once again, the greatest football movie ever. Anyways, rewind. Oh, Regal. Thank you. I like how we go from Regal to fucking Keanu Reeves in a football movie. Once again, who's the only person that can do that?
You.
Thank you. But basically, I noticed that he's like, ooh, America, a land of decadence and debauchery. I'm like, woo! Decadence and debauchery, you say? Count me in. Ooh. Okay. Shit. Where is this land of decadence and debauchery? Very Bacchus for you mythology fans. Anyway, so we go into, once again, the other why the fuck is this happening match. And I get, honestly, if you think about it, I know why these matches are happening.
Yeah, they're starting builds, it seems.
Yeah, Charlie Norris, once again, I haven't gotten sold on Charlie Norris in, this is roughly 2 months, roughly a month and a half.
About that.
Yeah. Now, here's the thing. This guy I'm sold on. We got Ice Train versus Shanghai Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
And here, you might have to acquiesce to you on this.
Uh-huh.
This is the first time I remember hearing Ice Train's song, or is this like a new one and they kind of used a generic one? I don't remember hearing this song before.
I don't remember either, actually.
But yeah, and I did notice, like, I don't know how long that relationship was. He's not coming out with Thunderbolt Patterson.
Yeah, I saw that too. That was weird.
Yeah, I don't know if that was just like a short-term thing or whatever, but once again, quick match. Not much to speak of. It was Ice Train. Once again, I love Ice Train.
Mm-hmm.
Even the choo-choo thing. Once again, nothing about Ice Train I'm not sold on yet.
Right.
I'm full. Like I said, I'm on the train. Now, the cool thing I did like him do is because, you got Tex Slashner, obviously, is going to be out there with Shanghai Pierce.
Mm-hmm.
Like I said, this is a quick match, so there's not much to write about. They're at the end. They have this thing where they're going to clothesline him with the bull rope.
Mm-hmm.
He just runs right through it and knocks them into each other.
Yeah, that looked painful.
That looked awesome. And then, the power slam for the win.
Yep, 2 minutes, 27 seconds.
This was, out of the two what the fuck, why the fuck matches, this is 100% better than the other one.
Yeah, definitely. Just
like, not even close. And by the way, next pay-per-view, Halloween Havoc.
October 24th.
We going to Nolans, y'all.
This'll be fun.
Yeah. Speaking of fun, our second of 3 title matches, the Nasty Boys will be getting a shot at the WCW tag titles versus Paul Roma and Arn Anderson. And we have it. Here's the thing. And I know, you know of basically, especially bigger places, they'll plant signs in the crowd, right?
Right.
I don't know if you noticed this. Now, I don't get this. Because who comes out with the Nasty Boys as their manager?
Missy Hyatt.
We haven't seen her in months. I'm going to say, early spring?
See, it's been a while.
And here's the thing. This is supposed to be the big surprise. Nobody knew she was going to be there, right?
Right.
Why are there nasty signs with the Nasty Boys and Missy Hyatt in the crowd?
I did see that.
I saw at least 2. Where it sounds like they've maybe planted those signs, but I'm like, if this is supposed to be the big surprise...
Why would there be signs in the crowd?
And there was no, as far as I know, of course I can always go back and look or whatever, that, the Nasty Boys, I think we only saw them on Saturday night like once or twice, because they haven't been back very long.
No, it was very recent.
Yeah, so I'm just like, they never insinuated that they were going to have a manager, or there was no assumption that Missy Hyatt was coming back or whatever.
Right.
So how were there Nasty Boy Missy Hyatt signs already?
Good question.
Which is why I think those were planted signs.
Right.
That happened to me. I went to my first ever concert was 3 Doors Down.
Mm-hmm.
And I had a local radio station say, hey, there was 3 of us. It was me, our friend of ours, and his wife.
Mm-hmm.
It was Tantric, Shinedown, and 3 Doors Down. It was within a year. This was less than a year before Shinedown blew up.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I thought they were a local band. Like, I had no idea who Shinedown was. 45, for those Shinedown fans, 45 was their biggest song, which tells you how long ago this was.
Mm-hmm.
Like 2003. They're like, hey, do you want to hold the sign up for us and just like, during the crowd or whatever? I'm like, oh, cool, So sign plants are a thing, but it just seems like, why would you have planted signs for a surprise that no one knew was going to happen?
Right, yeah, that doesn't make sense.
Exactly. But I just noticed how wonderful the crowd was, where they immediately started crack whore chants.
Oh, gosh, I didn't catch that.
More than once. And I did notice when they were walking around, for some reason, and this is very Chekhov's gun thing.
Mm-hmm.
Anybody that knows, especially when it comes to like movies and stuff, Chekhov's gun. If you focus on an item or a situation,
you need to have resolution.
Yeah, why am I focusing on this thing? Why is like, oh, this window. I'm focusing on this window. We need to have a resolution of why we're focusing on this window.
Right.
They focus in on a dollar bill that they found on the ground.
What?
Yeah, I was like, cool, dollar. Woo! How much did they talk about that dollar at all?
Negative 100%?
Exactly. How much does that factor into the finish?
It does not.
So that makes this
entirely pointless.
Honestly, and I was not surprised on how good this match was because, once again, I got what I wanted. We knew what Paul Roman and Arn Anderson were going to do. We knew what the Nasty Boys were going to do. I was honestly surprised. Like, I wasn't surprised that it was good. I was surprised on how good it was.
Right. Like I said, expectations. If you know what they do, you know what to expect, you'll have a good time.
But they exceeded my expectations.
Right.
That's where I was like, oh, okay. And I noticed at one point that they did get a solid chair shot to Arn, like, nice solid thwack.
Yeah, you could hear that.
Yeah. And speaking, we're going back to Missy here, because honestly, she was pretty much a non-factor. She just screeched the whole match. How is it? Okay, so if you think she's a crack whore, which they say it more than one. Also, Porky Pig to Brian Knobbs. If you're going to say that Missy Hyatt's a crack whore, right? So you're assuming that she is less than you. Why are you also asking her to take it off?
Good question.
Because I heard multiple she's a crack whore or just crack whore chants, but at the same time, take it off. Take it off. So, do you like her enough to take it off, or do you hate her enough to call her a crack whore? You can't have both there. Unless, once again, I don't judge everybody for their likes. If you happen to like crack whores, and you want to see a crack whore topless, I don't kink shame. But they seem very opposite ends of the spectrum for that.
Right, you can't have it both ways.
Yeah, this is not like this is not like that taco commercial where she's like, "Why not both?"
Yeah, there's also a part out where Tony and Jesse are talking about Houston as a sports town. Jesse mentions the previous year, the Oilers blew a 32-point lead in the first round of the playoffs against the Bills.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, it's a very famous game.
Yeah, and I looked it up. All the way until 2022, that was the biggest lead ever blown.
What exceeded that?
Minnesota Vikings came back from 33 down versus the Colts in, like I said, 2022.
Yeah, but no, it's a very famous game because that was during the time that the Bills made the Super Bowl 4 straight years.
Right.
And lost 4 straight years.
That I didn't know.
But yeah, there was a point there where the Bills, Jim Kelly, Thurman Thomas, it was a very solid team. Very solid, like the late 80s, early 90s Bills were solid with Jim Kelly and all that. Made the Super Bowl 4 years in a row. Lost the Super Bowl 4 years in a row.
That is just crushing.
Matter of fact, let me pull that up for you while we're talking about it. But yeah, so, and I did know, this is kind of funny. This is just me because I'm a fucking idiot like this. We do have Arn Anderson in the match, right?
Right.
We have Randy Anderson as the referee.
Right.
I noticed there was an Anderson chant. And part of me was like, I wanted to see that they weren't chanting for Arn Anderson, they were chanting for Randy Anderson. They're showing their love of how good Randy was as a referee. Okay, here we go. Super Bowl 25. Thank God I can actually read Roman numerals. Actually, a talent. I am actually pretty good at reading Roman numerals.
I am too, actually.
Super Bowl 25, 91. New York Giants, 20. Buffalo Bills, 19. Super Bowl 26, 92. Washington Redskins, 37. Bills, 24. Super Bowl 27 in 93, which would have been this year. Dallas Cowboys, 52. Bills, 17.
Holy crap.
Yeah, there was a while where it was just like, there was blowouts. Routinely in the Super Bowl, there was blowouts.
Mm-hmm.
The fucking 49ers did that to the Broncos one year.
Yikes.
Where it was like a lot to a little. And then I'm going to go and spoil it now, folks. Super Bowl 28 in 94. Dallas Cowboys 30, Bills 13.
Gotcha.
They have not been to the Super Bowl since. Their last title was the AFL.
Oh, God, that's a long-ass time ago.
1964 and 1965.
Yeah, I remember. Yeah, the Browns have some titles, too, back in that era before the Super Bowl.
Yeah, we don't talk. You guys don't talk about that game against the Broncos, do you?
No, we don't.
Mm-mm. Anyways, but so we get once again, this match was absolutely fucking solid.
Yeah, I loved this match.
Would have been my match of the night if not for the last title match.
Yeah.
But yeah, so we go into the finish. The Horseman hit the really nice finisher. You know, the best spinebuster business against Roma's really good fucking top rope splash.
Mm-hmm.
Here's a question. Maybe you can answer this because you know weird shit too.
Okay.
When they do like a big dive like that, somebody dives off a top rope or dives off a stage or dives into a pool or whatever.
Right.
Why is it called a swan dive?
I have no idea.
Swans aren't known for diving, are they? As far as I know.
Not that I'm aware of either.
I'm just wondering why it called a swan dive.
I honestly have no idea.
But yeah, because they called his splash a swan. But basically, he goes for the splash, and Missy was it Missy or was it Knobs? One of them Knobs distracted the ref, and then Sags hit a top rope elbow on Roma to win. No, actually, no, it was Missy because he was pinning Knobs. He couldn't have.
Right.
Yeah, it was Missy. Sorry, wrong blonde. Got on the rope to distract. The ref was distracted, anyways. Roma has Knobs covered. Sags hits the top rope elbow.
Yes.
They flip him over. Nasty Boys win.
23 minutes, 57 seconds.
Fucking great match.
Absolutely. This was a good mix of the Nasty Boys brawling and the Horsemen wrestling.
Yeah. Once again, I was not surprised what I got. I exceeded my expectations.
Right.
It was great, but it was also better than I expected at the same time.
Right.
Fucking 4 stars. 4.5. Actually, I'd give us 4.5.
Hell yeah.
Interview with the new champs, the Nasty Boys. Apparently Missy Hyatt couldn't cut a fucking promo because that was not good.
So yeah, she's honestly I've never liked a promo she's cut.
Yeah, but that one was very.
It was subpar even for her.
She even straight up said they didn't even need me to win, so I'm like, okay, why the fuck are you out there?
Right.
She straight up said I didn't need to be out there for them to win. They won without me. I'm like, okay, so why are you out there?
Right.
You just told everybody that there's no reason for you to be out there with the Nasty Boys.
Right.
However, we do get a fucking great fucking package about Cactus Jack.
Yeah, the whole package was awesome.
It made Lost in Cleveland look cool.
Those bits were cringe, but they salvaged it, I think, as best they could have hoped to.
It was still garbage. It's still horrendous. It's still horrible. It's still garbage. This package made it seem like, oh, it wasn't as bad.
Yeah, they salvaged it as best they could.
So we talked about this, I think, last week. So we've established that No Amnesia was not his wife, was not his child. He did this for weeks and weeks and weeks. Didn't tell anybody. Because Dustin Rhodes was with him the 1 week. So obviously he didn't know.
Mm-hmm.
Unless he was in on it, but we don't know that. So basically he gets the concussion in, was it April?
Yeah, April or somewhere around there.
Yeah, so we're talking 6 months. He wasn't on TV, minus the Lost in Cleveland skits. But no, this was we know the bag. He had the bag. And we'll find out later what's in the bag. Prepare to be disappointed.
Oh boy.
There's something in the bag. There actually is something in the little pouch. Prepare to be disappointed.
I am setting my expectations accordingly.
Lower.
Okay.
So we get the bounty match. And remember, this is not a match for the bag. This is just Yoshi Kwan's trying to cash in on a bounty to fight Cactus Jack. So we get the man who puts Asian and Caucasian, Yoshi Kwan, versus Cactus Jack. And here's something that I never picked on whenever there's like a War Games type match or show where they have multiple rings.
Right.
Tony brought something up that's very interesting to me. And one of those things that I've never registered. They're fighting around. I think they get into the other ring because, this is a 2-ring show.
Yeah, they're supposed to be using the one farther away from the ramp is what Tony said.
Yeah, but here's the thing. When he said their ring, what if he goes, like, let's say Cactus Jack goes for a pinfall in the other ring. Does the ref not count it?
Right, yeah.
That's weird to me.
It's very weird.
No, it's just the fact that I'm like, so if I go for a pinfall or submission, does it not count?
So yeah, they were alternating rings all night, and I'm not sure why.
But I guess I can see it so the crowd can get at least equal amount of time. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So like one side of the arena is not going to get all the action. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. They're not centered. They're not centered, so you go back and forth. So each part of the audience has it right in front.
Exactly. I 100%. I think that's why they did. Like, perfect example. 2009, me and our friend and his wife went to go see Metallica.
Mm-hmm.
By the way, fucking great show. And remember, we're too old to get on the floor, even though I went on the floor for the last concert I went to.
Uh-huh.
We're like, nah, I ain't trying to sit for fucking sand for that fucking long.
Right.
Because Metallica themselves was 2.5 hours.
Holy crap.
It was Gojira, Lamb of God, Metallica, and we were talking multiple hours. The way the stage was set up for Metallica was and you know how you go, most times you're on the floor and the stage is at one end, right?
Right.
For Metallica, the stage was in the middle, so there was people all the way around it.
Oh, cool.
So what they did, because, you know, Lars plays drums for Metallica. What they did, he got into his drum kit, and so everybody got at least a good look of at least him playing drums or whatever.
Right.
About every half hour, his drum set, his whole setup, would rotate 90 degrees like every half hour.
Oh, cool.
That way everybody got, at one point, you get at least a decent shot of him playing drums.
That's awesome.
So I kind of think it's the same concept. It's like, that way, everybody, you know, it's like Spider-Man.
Everybody gets one.
That's why I think that's what it is. But it's interesting to me that I never thought about this in all the War Games, now Survivor Series pay-per-views. If I pin you in the ring, you and I are in a match. We're in this ring. I pin you in the other ring. Does that not count as a pinfall?
Right. Yeah, I see what you're saying.
If I throw you over the top rope in the other ring, is that not a DQ?
Right.
You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm, I do.
That's just something that and I'm sure I'm thinking way too deep in this, but it's just something that just came to me because it was one of those, it's like, huh.
Yeah. Huh.
Yeah, that's exactly what it was. Basically, it was a quick match. We knew who was going to win this.
Yeah, there's a bit where Kwon leaps and he shoves his ass in CJ's face like he failed at a dropkick. I thought that was pretty funny.
Yeah. Like, once again, we've established my problems with Yoshi Kwan. I have no problems with his wrestling style. I really liked the style of Yoshi Kwan. I dug it.
It's the gimmick that's the problem.
It's the gimmick because it is a white guy. He's basically playing Yellowface is 100% what it is. But Jack hits his double arm DDT for the win.
3 minutes, 39 seconds.
This is basically for the most part, this is the end of Yoshi Kwan.
I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing.
I think he gets. Did he have his match with Flair yet on Saturday night?
I don't think so.
So I think if it's not yet, it happens right after this. He has, matter of fact, let me look because I have my thing here. Mm-hmm. He has one match with Flair on Saturday night.
Okay.
He has one match on the 2nd of October, like a squash match.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next week after that, the 9th, he has a match with Ric Flair.
And then that's it?
For the, looks like it right there, yeah.
Okay.
Anyways, so yeah, and then after the match, Cactus Jack jumps Harley Race, suplex. Once again, we appreciate that Harley Race is taking fucking suplexes years after he retired from in-ring competition. He's still taking good bumps.
Yeah, he does it like a champ.
Yeah, Harley Race was a bad motherfucker.
Oh yeah.
In real life too. Like, look up stories about just how tough he was.
Like, I believe it.
Let's put it this way: if I ever got into a bar fight, I want Harley Race on my side.
Gotcha.
We'll put it that way. Harley Race is a guy. Harley Race is like a first-round draft pick for a bar fight. Harley Race, Meng, who we'll see later a little bit next year, it was Haku.
Mm-hmm.
The man who could take freaking pepper spray to the face and no-sell it.
Oh, God.
Where he's ripped chunks out of people.
Oh, my God.
Bit a dude's nose off. The funny thing is, anybody that has stories about Haku and Meng.
Mm-hmm.
Sweetest, nicest dude in the world. But if you get to the point where he has to fight you,
you're going to get fucked up.
Let's put it this way. Do you know who was actually frightened of Haku? One of the few people that's frightened of Haku? That was not frightened or scared of anybody?
Do tell.
Fucking Andre the Giant knew not to
really?
fuck. Andre the Giant knew not to fuck with Haku.
I wanted to say Andre, and I don't know why, because I have no reason to have known that.
But you would assume that Andre's not scared of him. Fuck. Andre was like, if I didn't like you, he would just do whatever the fuck he wanted.
Right.
Andre the Giant did not fuck with Haku.
Gotcha.
If that tells you how much of a badass Haku was.
It does.
Yeah. Who, by the way, the bloodline now, the two new ones, those are his sons.
Oh, cool.
They're all part of the whole situation.
Yeah, they're the Adawai family.
No, they're not in Hawaii, but they're part of the whole massive family tree where they're all cousins and uncles and brothers and shit.
Okay, thank you for correcting me.
Yeah, but no, yeah. First, I know, last time I read, he like runs a car dealership down in Florida.
Cool.
Would you tell him no? He was like, "You're going to sign this paper?" Yes, sir. Absolutely. You know what? I'm even going to get that extra package on my car. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Oh, the extra, the paint protection. Yeah, absolutely. Yes, sir. Anything you want. Oh, I'm getting the extended cab trick. Yes, sir. Absolutely. You know what? You're right. I do need a second car. Where's the paint? Yes, sir. Absolutely. You know what? Let me get the lift kit for that truck. Absolutely. But the funny thing is like I've heard from all intents and purposes, like people that knew him like personally, sweetest dude in the world.
I got you.
Once again, if there's a bar fight, I don't care if my people started it. I'm on his team. I will get traded. You sir, the bar fight. He's not with me. I'm with you, sir. I'm gonna kick his ass with you. Absolutely not getting in a fight with Haku.
Wow, that whole. You're amazing, guy.
I try. Stop it. You make me blush. Stop it. I'm blushing through the webcam. I don't have my webcam on. Stop it. But no, like, those are two dudes, like, if they're on the other side of the bar, if I'm in a bar fight and I see Harley Race and Haku on the other side, fuck it, I'm out. I'll crash a beer bottle over my own head. I throw myself through a fucking table. Nope, I am out. They come running at me. I'm going to hit the floor and start tapping the floor. It's like, I'm out. I give up. Nope. No. Will not fight Harley Race.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks, don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Alright then. I don't know what the fuck just happened, but I don't really care. I'ma get the fuck up out of here. Fuck this shit, I'm out.
That's 100% what I'm thinking in my head when I see that. Nope. Those two dudes are, like I said, there was times in the territory days, I think we talked about this once or twice, where people would try you because this is, kayfabe is real, wrestling's fake, all this shit.
Right.
People would come up to him and try to fight him in bars or wrestling, like, oh, you're not a real guy, or you're not a real tough guy.
And you had to win, otherwise it would break kayfabe and you get fired.
Yeah, 100%. Be like, okay, cool. I think Bill Watts was a big proponent of that, especially in Mid-South. That, you lost a fight, now you're fired. You're not in this territory anymore. You lost a fight. So who's going to watch you now that everybody knows that you lost? Yeah, you're fired.
Yeah.
I know for a fact Bill Watts used to do that. I think the Grahams down in Florida were known for that too. Where it's like there's times where you couldn't go to the same restaurant. You weren't allowed to go to the same restaurant after a show. You weren't allowed to go to the same gym. Like if you and I were feuding, right? And I'm going to a show where we finished wrestling for the night. And I go into a restaurant and you're already sitting there.
You got to go somewhere else.
Yep. If I go to the gym, like I get up in the morning, I'm going to the gym. You're already working out. I got to find another gym. Because by the time you even get to the ring, I'm like, why the fuck were you two in the gym together?
Back in those days, it was about maintaining the illusion, right?
Yeah. There's a story. I think Mick Foley told this story. That Bruiser Brody, which was, once again, that's a scary motherfucker too. Him and a guy who was feuding, they would be at the gym together, and then we'd go and have coffee and have breakfast together. Like, you can't do that. You're going to get caught. So they would just go to a different restaurant, like, farther away, just so they could have... Because they were good friends outside of wrestling. But, like, why are you doing this? And, I mean, I wouldn't tell Bruiser Brody... I wouldn't say anything to Bruiser Brody. Fuck that. You saw that match with Rick... You saw that match I posted with Ric Flair? I'm not telling Bruiser Brody no.
I saw that.
That man made his name in Japan, we'll put it that way.
And if you make your name in Japan, you're made pretty much everywhere.
No, it's just that was a bad motherfucker. Look up his
Right.
Japan matches. No, sir.
Gotcha.
That's another one. It's like, no, sir. Anyways, hey, that's actually was our first real tangent.
Love it.
I'm surprised. So we get into the promo package for Flair and Rude, and here's something I didn't notice the first time I saw Flair for the Gold, because they showed Flair for the Gold, the whole setup for this match, right?
Right.
that, you know, they're doing the whole thing. Rick's talking to the crowd and everything. And then, you know how Rude comes in, hits him from behind with the title belt?
Yeah.
Watch this again. If you watch it, because, you know, once again, all set up. I know wrestling's an illusion. You actually see Ric Flair duck his head to kind of like prep himself before Rude hits him with the belt.
Whoops.
I know. I wouldn't say it was a whoops. He was just readying himself, but I was just like, oh, I caught that.
Oh, okay, I gotcha.
It wasn't a botch. It was just like he was prepping himself. But it was like, if you watch it back again, you can see that he was kind of like...
He was getting ready.
Yeah. Speaking of ready, we get the Battle of the Ricks for the world title. Flair versus Rude. And here's the thing. I do got to talk about this because this is right around the time where WCW left the NWA.
Mm-hmm.
So this wasn't the NWA world title anymore. This is just a world title. I think it was around September 1st, so maybe a couple weeks after this. And then on top of that, the Paul Roma and Arn Anderson were considered the last NWA world tag titles. I think they were the WCW tag champs, but they weren't considered the NWA ones anymore. And I think they didn't even get new NWA world tag champions until 95.
Oh wow, that long?
Yeah, the NWA was not in a good spot at this point.
Gotcha.
But anyway, so we get this world title, and I remember when I said how Rick Rude used to love to fuck with people's heads with his tights.
Yeah,
Now you gotta finally see it because he comes out and he's got Fifi on his tights.
Yes, I saw that.
I fucking loved it. And you know what's funny about this?
Do tell.
You know I love reading old stories and the history of wrestling, old stories.
Mm-hmm.
From everything I read, Rude was a very dedicated family man in real life, outside of like wrestling.
Oh, really?
But you see him do this, he's like, I'm here to kiss the ladies. Fuck you, dude. Give me your woman. Apparently he was the nicest family man outside of wrestling.
I love the dichotomy.
Yeah, I find that shit fascinating. But anyways, and I talk about how Flair was always ready.
Mm-hmm.
And because I gotta be that guy, first thing that popped in my head was always ready. I thought that was Matt Cardona.
Oh!
Yeah, I immediately went to Matt Cardona when I heard always ready because, of course, you know.
Mm-hmm.
Because?
Of course!
But yeah, I like how Flair actually got the friggin' figure four in early.
Yeah.
And we also get another over the top, so we get another. But, and the only thing was, like, this match was fucking great.
Yeah, this had all the good stuff. Good chaining, good attacks.
Well, that was pretty good attacks. Thank you. That could have been the most vanilla answer I've ever seen.
Sorry, had a brain fart.
Yeah. Yeah. They punched you in face good. But no, like, this was like, once again, we know what Flair can do. I know what Rude can do.
I'm learning what Rude can do.
And we just got off, he just finished doing that crazy ass best of 3 series with Dustin Rhodes for the fucking US title. And now he's doing a fucking clinic with Flair.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, by the way, I saw there was another point where Flair clotheslined Rude over the top rope. Nothing happened. So we get another. But no, I can't talk about this. You know what? Fuck it. This was 5 stars to me.
This was amazing.
This was fucking great.
Yeah, this had everything.
Yeah. Punches, attacks. It had 2 men in the ring wrestling. Oh, I'm sorry. That was my impression of you. I am so sorry.
Oh, bite me.
I will too. Don't tempt me. Because you know I will.
Yes, you will. I shouldn't tempt fate like that.
No. Remember, you can't tell me to do shit because I will do it.
I should know this by now. I really should.
But Flair actually does hit the Rude Awakening, and I like Rude didn't kick out. He just put his foot on the rope. That just because you could see just how sweaty and tired and exhausted these guys were. Because there was not a lot of rest holds where it was like, these guys left it in the ring. You want to talk a match that epitomizes leave it in the ring?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it was like a nice touch. Rude didn't kick out. He just put his foot on the bottom rope when Flair hit him with the Rude Awakening.
I felt like in the early going there was a lot of chaining, but toward the middle and the end it tapered off a bit.
Yeah, it got into a fight. Like it was like they knew how to build a match properly. Isn't that weird?
Yeah.
Isn't that weird that Flair and Rude can fucking build a match and make it look good and build properly? Huh. And here's the crazy thing. Bro, Flair hit a top rope move.
You don't do that often.
Ever. He never does. And not only that, it was from the top rope to the floor.
Yeah. I specifically took note of that.
Yeah, because we know one thing Flair doesn't do. He never does it. He'll get on the top rope, but he always gets peeled off. He actually landed a move.
Gotcha.
So yeah, like we could go through blow by blow, but so much shit happens. Like we couldn't give this match justice.
Yeah, we could talk and talk and talk like I used to do on this podcast, but this is a match you should really see yourselves if you can.
Once again, it's on Peacock. It's Fall Brawl 93.
Yep.
So Rude does pull Fifi in the ring, but Flair jumps in afterwards. Flair does get the figure 4 in, but while the ref's distracted, Rude pulls brass necks out of his tights to hit Flair, and he pins him. And we have a new champion, folks.
I was shocked by this. The match took 30 minutes, 32 seconds, and it was great. Three title matches, 3 title changes. I did not expect that.
Yeah, this match, so good.
Stellar.
Like, when we're talking about who our favorite wrestlers are for, this year for 93, you got to put, at least for me, for WCW, you got to put Flair and Rude in there because they're big matches they've had. Like, you got to think about, Rude had this one. Rude had the best of 3 with Dustin. Just like his whole feud with Dustin Rhodes was fantastic. He had this match with Flair. Flair had this. He had... I actually did like the match he had with Barry Windham. It wasn't the best, but I did like the match he had with Barry Windham when he won the title. That match he had with Sting that went fucking 45 minutes.
Incredibly solid the whole year so far.
Yeah. Like, you got to think about, like, Sting's been solid. Vader's been solid. Flair's been solid. Rude's been solid. Dustin Rhodes has been solid.
Scorpio and Bagwell have been solid.
Yeah, that might be one of my favorite tag teams of 93. Like, I know, trust me, there's been a lot of shit in WCW this year. But to me, the good stuff has been really good.
Agreed. Like you said about the pay-per-view, the highs have been really high and the lows have been really low.
Yep. And speaking of lows, we have our main event, and this is your mom saying, "I'm not mad, I'm just disappointed."
Mm-hmm.
Because we get our
War Games.
Sting, Dustin Rhodes, Shockmaster, and British Bulldog versus Sid Vader and Harlem Heat. And I was honestly surprised, but then in hindsight, not really. Because the good guys come out with their advisor, who's fucking Animal from the Road Warriors.
Mm-hmm.
And then I'm like, they have an advisor. And they're well, if you think about it storyline-wise, Hawk and Animal were in more than one War Games match. So I kind of get the idea. But I mean, you also got Sting and Dustin Rhodes were in one in 91 that's considered one of, if not the best War Games matches of all time.
Right.
When you got on one side, you have Sting, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, Barry Windham, and Nikita Koloff on one team versus the Dangerous Alliance. So you got that team. Then you got Rick Rude, Larry Zbyszko, Bobby Eaton, Steve Austin, and fucking Arn Anderson on the other team.
Holy shit, that's a lot of star power.
Yeah. Considered one of it's up there as one, if not the best War Games match of all time.
Gotcha.
Yeah, it's Wrestle War 91. Was it 90? Yeah, it was 91.
Mm-hmm.
No, 92. Because, Wrestle War 91 was the other one. Because there's I want to bring that up later on here in the show. But no, give me a second.
Okay.
Wrestle War, while I'm looking at, but yeah, this is like, you got guys in here that have done,
War Games matches.
Yeah. Was it 90? It was Wrestle War. Yeah, it was Wrestle War 92. 91 was the other one I'm thinking of. Where it was Sting, Barry Windham, Dustin Rhodes, Ricky Steamboat, Nikita Koloff versus Steve Austin, Rick Rude, Arn Anderson, Bobby Eaton, and Larry Zbyszko.
Holy shit.
Yeah. Fucking great match. And that went like almost 25 minutes.
Mm-hmm.
But anyways, so this is, and we know what this is. We're not going to go through the rules. They've explained the rules 800 times.
Yes, they have.
It took them forever to explain the rules now.
Yes, it did.
Yeah. So, we're starting off with Vader. And before the good guys could say anything, Dustin Rhodes just hops in there and says, "Fuck it, I'm fighting."
Oh, yeah.
I was like, oh, okay. Well, because, we've established at this point, at least with this character, Dustin Rhodes, not afraid to fight. Doesn't care how beat up he is. He will fight you.
Yes, he will.
And he's like, fuck it, I'm fighting Vader.
Yeah.
So now he's going to be in there the whole match. And the first 5 minutes is just Vader. I'm like, I'm not fighting Vader. I don't care if I'm in there by myself surrounded by a cage. I ain't fucking fighting Vader by myself.
It's got to be crazy to do that.
And here insert Dustin Rhodes.
Yep.
This was relatively back and forth. Obviously, Vader's focusing on the ribs because we're selling the attack that he had yesterday, quote unquote, which was probably I think like 3 or 4 weeks before the show.
Right.
Because they would record weeks and weeks of shows at a time.
Oh yeah, I don't know why, but I forgot they did. I forgot they were doing that at this point.
Yeah, and it was just weird when it comes up with title changes because we'll see it here next week, where it's like they'll have the people come out, they'll announce him as the champion, or they'll come out without the title, but the Chiron, the lower third, will announce him as the champion. It's a whole weird thing.
Yeah.
There was one incident where it was the Freebirds and what's it, the Road Warriors? But anyways, at one point there was a pay-per-view in between episodes. Like if they were doing episodes before and after pay-per-view, right?
Mm-hmm.
So a team won the titles on a TV taping.
Okay.
Had them at the pay-per-view, but somehow lost them before the other episode started.
Huh.
It was really weird because they did a whole like 3 or 4 title changes where it's like one team had it, had it at the pay-per-view. No, or is it they won it at the pay-per-view and then lost it? It was fucking complicated.
It's like I'm having trouble following.
I'm having trouble explaining it, and I know the story.
Gotcha.
But anyways, and I'm just thinking about, wait, what? The bad guys won the coin flip for War Games? What? That never happens except every fucking time.
Right.
Because it's a good storytelling thing. The bad guys always have the advantage.
Right.
But anyway, so the bad guys win, and then Kane / Booker T is the next one in.
Mm-hmm.
They just beat on Dustin for a couple minutes. Sting's the first good guy to come in. Nothing really exciting happens. And then Sid is the next bad guy to come in. And he nuts fucking chokeslam him on Sting where he picks him up one-handed, no hand on the back, no left. He just up and down one fucking hand.
Yeah, Sting was getting slammed into the top of the cage by the heels at this point. That was awful.
And that reminded me of WrestleWar 91. And it was another War Games match Sting was in. And Sid was on the other side. And I remember this. I think it was Sting, the Steiners, and Flying Brian.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a very small cage where Sid's head was almost touching the top.
Yikes.
Like it was a very not tall cage.
So yeah, the War Games cage is really pretty small.
Yeah. But this one, it got to the point where it got to the end where Flying Brian was getting powerbombed by Sid, and he couldn't get him fully up. Like Brian's head was hitting the top of the cage, so when he got powerbombed, it looked awful. It looked like he just got murdered.
Yeah.
But that was the finish where he just like did that. He got powerbombed, and then the ref called it.
Yeah.
But it was just like that's how tall it was. Like Sid couldn't even powerbomb anybody. And that's what I was talking about. And then Bulldog comes in and just cleans house. Bulldog solos Sid and Vader.
Yeah. Power slammed Vader off a turnbuckle. That was nasty.
Yeah. And then Cole's the last heel to come in. And once again, we're kind of flying through this because nothing really happened in this match.
Like there were good moments, but it was routine.
It was just all like Dustin got busted open. I think Vader was the only other one that got busted open a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
I think Vader got busted open. I'm not sure, but Dustin was bleeding.
Yeah, Dustin was clearly bleeding.
Nothing really, honestly, nothing in a cage match called
War Games.
You would expect shit to happen. Like look up WrestleWar 92 or any of the WWF clips. Like you can come up with the ones that now that they started War Games again, you can at least find a handful of spots every fucking match.
Right.
Nothing happened in this. It was just they honestly didn't even really use the cage a lot as a weapon. There wasn't really the only cool thing that I saw. Probably the highlight for me was right before Shockmaster comes in. Booker T. I keep saying Booker T. It's hard for me to call him Kane and Cole. Uh-huh. I know they're killing Kane and Cole here, but they've always when I started watching wrestling again, at least WCW, it was already Booker T and Stevie Ray.
Right.
So I'm going to default to that. So Booker, because he was the more agile half of Harlem Heat. Dove over the top ropes, cleared both the ropes. But the way the camera looked, I couldn't tell. Did he hit who he was supposed to? Did he miss? Did he hit a bad guy? Did he just eat shit? It looked a cool spot, but we just couldn't see who or if he connected with anybody.
Yeah, the ring was kind of claustrophobic there toward the end with all the people in it, because plus cameraman.
Yeah, but it was a far camera shot too, so we couldn't see.
Right.
And then the highlight, last one to come in is Shockmaster. He didn't trip.
Oh my gosh, it's a miracle.
Yeah. And then within a minute, he just bear hugs friggin' Booker T and they win. I was like, okay, he just came in less than a minute, bear hugged Booker T for the win.
Because, yeah, we're just done now after 16 minutes and 42 seconds.
Where I'm just like, oh, I guess it's, he's smacked a couple of people, bear hug in under a minute.
Yeah, it was not very long from the end of that funnel period.
Yeah, I'm just like, okay, we're done. It was like the first time with my girlfriend. I was like, oh, well, I guess we're done. My bad. Yeah, and it was just like, that's the thing was like, this War Games was okay.
Yeah, just there.
And then the ending just made it even lower.
Yeah.
So, yeah, this is a C- at best.
I would rate the show as a C+.
Well, I'm talking about just the match.
Oh. Yeah, the War Games match, yes, C-.
But here's the thing. If you take away, because we don't count the dark match, which I have a dark hair. Match, in fact, Eric Watts beat Bobby Eaton in the dark match. There, for those watching at home.
Huh.
If you take away Regal Steamboat, Nasty Boys and the Horsemen, Flair and Rude, this pay-per-view fucking sucked.
Yeah, the three title matches, like you said, elevated it far beyond what it should have been.
Like, I get why people say this match, like, there was like, people are saying, after Regal and Steamboat, this pay-per-view sucked. It's like, I will agree that so far this is the worst pay-per-view of WCW. Not the worst pay-per-view we've covered.
Definitely not.
WrestleMania 9 was the worst pay-per-view we've covered this year.
Yes.
This is the worst WCW pay-per-view. And I get the matches that were bad were fucking bad.
Yes.
But when you have Regal Steamboat go fucking damn near 20 minutes, fucking Nasty Boys, Arn Anderson went almost 25, and then Rude and Flair went over, just over a half hour.
Yeah, those matches elevated the pay-per-view well above what it otherwise would have been.
Yeah, it went from really fucking horrible to kind of bad.
Yeah.
So, my favorite... Okay, we'll go ahead. What is your favorite match of the night?
I'm going to say my favorite was Flair and Rude.
I actually agree with that. And that's what I'm saying. Like, when Steven Regal and Ricky Steamboat is my third favorite match of the night, when I knew that was going to be one of my favorites.
Right.
And that was a great match, too. It wasn't even remotely bad. But all right, yep, that is Fall Brawl. Once again, not as bad as everybody says it is, but it is, as of right now, I think we still have 3 pay-per-views for WCW. We got Halloween Havoc. We have the Battle... I think they made the Battle Bowl a pay-per-view.
Do we have another clash?
Oh, let me check. But, I think we got at least 3 pay-per-views left for WCW. We have 1 left of WWF.
Survivor Series.
Yeah. So we're looking at 93. 1.
Okay, we do have another clash?
November. So somewhere around the time of that. And I'm looking at it and I'm like, oh no. Yes, but at the same time, there's going to be the Shockmaster versus the Equalizer.
Who the fuck wanted that? Not me.
I'm going to go over the card right now. Rick Rude versus Hawk. Could be good. Shockmaster versus the Equalizer. Why?
Yes, why?
Regal versus Johnny B. Bad. I'm okay with that one.
Ooh.
Austin versus Pillman. We knew that was going to happen.
Mm-hmm.
Rhodes versus Orndorff. I'm okay with that one.
I'm okay with that too.
Nasty Boys versus Sting and Davey Boy for the tag titles.
Nice.
And then Flair versus Vader for the world title.
Oh.
That's in November. So right around the time of... So I know Battle Bowl gets his own pay-per-view.
On the whole, that's a pretty solid card.
Yeah. Battle Bowl is a week and a half later.
Oh boy.
So we got a Clash on the 10th, and then Battle Bowl's on the 20th.
Okay.
And for those that don't know what that is, Battle Bowl, it used to be Starrcade did a Battle Bowl this year, but basically what it is we're going to have people randomly draw two names. You're going to be a tag team, right? You guys fight in tag match. 2 random people versus 2 random people. And the winning teams go on to a battle royal, and whoever wins the battle royal gets like a check. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying?
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, we have 1 Clash and 3 pay-per-views for WCW, and we have 1 pay-per-view left for WWF. So we have 4 pay-per-views and a Clash left for 93.
Right.
But yes, that is Dropkicks and Attractions for this week. Thank you, everybody, for listening. So next week, or I'm sorry, in 2 weeks, we're going to have Raw and SmackDown. Excuse me, Raw and SmackDown. This is not 99 again. Raw and WCW Saturday night, because once again, we're on the road to Halloween Havoc, which is that's September 19th. In like a month, little over a month, we're going to have Halloween Havoc.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to have, oh no, I just saw the first match for Halloween Havoc.
Oh boy.
Oh no. Ice Train
Don't
Charlie...
tell me.
You need to hear this. Ice Train, Charlie Norris, and the Shockmaster versus Harlem Heat and the Equalizer.
What the fuck?
And it goes almost 10 minutes.
Oh God.
No, there's good shit on this there's good shit on this show.
Oh boy.
No, like there's good matches.
Oh.
But that's the first match. I'm like, oh no.
I don't even like thinking about that as an opening match.
Yeah. Poor Ice Train, poor Harlem Heat.
Yeah.
We are going to be doing Raw and WCW Saturday night next week. Once again, I think they even do a control center for Halloween Havoc like right away.
That's fast.
Well, like I said, we got about a little over a month.
Mm-hmm.
And then we're about 2 months out from Survivor Series. So, you can find us, and I swear to God, I promise I'm going to start using the Twitter more. You can find the podcast on Twitter at capital D and capital A Podcast 1, YouTube, Rumble, podcasting sites everywhere, at least the ones that are still alive, because they're dropping like fucking flies.
Oh yeah, it's crazy.
Yeah. I know for a fact, Spotify, iHeartRadio, as far as I know, I almost said Stitcher. Stitcher's not around anymore. Google's not around anymore. Apple, Good Pods. Where can we find you, and what the fuck are you doing?
I am at BigBoct, BIGBOCT, pretty much everywhere. I am streaming on Twitch Monday, Tuesday, Thursday around 1 p.m.
Eastern.
I've got a few things I'm cycling through right now. Still seeking my first win on normal difficulty for FTL Factor the Light.
Uh-huh.
Every now and then making DDR charts in Stepmania.
Uh-huh.
And I'm evaluating my options for DOS games. Because I've got a big torrent of every DOS game ever made.
So you do have a DOS box, don't you?
Yeah.
And then I talked to you about this. We're trying to hopefully get our separate solo podcasts up by, I would like to have at least the first ones up by the end of August, is the goal.
Yes. Texploration was mine. I'm still working on that.
Yeah, so we're hoping end of August for both, because we have stuff coming up that would behoove us having this stuff going.
Yeah. How about you, Xander? Where are you at?
Right now I'm at home. Because I have to go to work. Oh, I'm sorry. Xander and Victor's everywhere. Instagram, Twitch, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube. I've been putting a lot of my been doing relatively successful. I play WW 2K24 4 days a week on my Twitch, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday. Wednesday, Saturday, and Sunday, if I have time, because of everything else, I play Magic the Gathering Arena. I don't advertise those on Twitter. I don't go live. So basically, follow me on Twitch so you'll know when I go live. If I have time, I do it. If not, I don't, promote it. If I do it, I do it. Right now, I'm getting ready to finish the first season on the universe of Xander 3 shows, which I always make fun jokes because I put it as X3S, so it looks like sex. So I make, I do, so it'll be like sweaty XES or X3S, and 100%. That's 100% why I'm doing it.
Of course,
I'm actually going to put. I just did the Royal Rumble in the season mode, the universe mode. I'm actually thinking about, I might do it here the next day or two, cutting that out of the stream and putting it up just because of how intense it was. Because they're like, hey, we know you declared for the Royal Rumble, so we're going to make it for your title, and you're starting at number 1.
Oh, God.
Yeah. Well, I'm actually cutting it because even my mom was watching, who she comes in chat. Even she was getting intense with it.
Oh, cool.
which, she's not a big wrestling fan. But yeah, so I'm doing that. I keep forgetting to do it. I'm going to try to do it tomorrow because it's already fucking 9:30 tonight here. I don't have time. I might put the Royal Rumble up, but I do want to get back to doing the my GM. I had a lot of fun with that. I got good responses. Yeah, find the shorts on YouTube because people are going nuts. 5 out of my last 10 shorts on YouTube have gone over 1,000 views.
Hell yeah, man.
Which is intense considering I started my channel with beginning of the year. I started at 2 followers. And I'm at almost 50 just within the last few months.
That's some great traction, man. That's awesome.
Yeah, so TikTok. I put all my shorts on there and then goofy shit because TikTok is just there for that. I've been doing more Instagram stuff because I started going to the gym again. And so I've been trying to just as more a accountability thing. I've been putting pictures of me at the gym and my workouts, just kind of that sort of thing. So yeah, thank you everybody for coming out, and we will see you guys in 2 weeks.
Take care.